we shall have the humble presence of our Honorable Minister in the next super few minutes from now. So I'm going to kindly request you all to please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. I can still see a few of us standing. Please kindly be seated. Our Honorable Minister shall be here any second from now. Please, everybody. We welcome you all. It's gonna be truly a super magnificent day today. I'm going to please request you all and personally come and personally request all of you to be seated if you don't mind. It's just a humble request. May we all be seated, ladies and gentlemen? A very precious moment indeed for all of us to have the brilliant presence of our Honorable Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence, UAE. I promise we'll have lots of time all day long to meet and greet and have lots of pictures taken. But I'm going to please request you all to be seated, please. Thank you. Hello, lovely morning. Please kindly take your seats, everybody. Sat Sri Akal, sir. May I kindly request you to be seated, please. Today is Sunday. That is the day of truth that we celebrate, and I welcome you all on this very lovely Sunday. And now, you're all a family. So I'm going to please request everybody to be seated, and I'm going to personally come and, oh wow, I can see a lot of us standing here. Is it okay if we be seated, sir? Should I help you with a chair, sir? Thank you. Your Holiness, may I kindly request you all to be seated, please? Thank you, appreciate it. Please take your seats, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, a humble request to all of you. Thank you so much, appreciate it. It's gonna be truly a fabulous day today. And with folded hands, greetings to one and all. The world has come together at our prestigious Global Justice, Love and Peace Summit 2025. And we are truly overwhelmed to have all of you here after a great day full of knowledge and love personification. It's time for us to be seated to welcome our Honorable Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, the most loved Honorable Minister in the UAE. We are truly fortunate to have the privilege and honor to have his humble presence. Thank you so much, one and all. Thank you. Shukriya.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I please request you all to take your seats as we prepare to begin day two. Hopefully, all of you in the coffee area can also hear me and the announcements being made in the main hall. If I may request you to please take your beverages and come over inside the main hall. We would really like for all of you to settle down so we can begin day two very, very shortly. Thank you. Just a quick housekeeping announcement, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in the coffee area, may I please request you to take your beverages and proceed to the main hall. We would love for all of you to settle down as we begin day two in a few minutes. We have His Excellency joining us in just a few minutes, and we'd really like to get all of our ducks in a row before then. So if I may please request those in the coffee area, please bring your beverages into the main hall and settle down. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. As we wait here to begin what's going to be a very impactful day two of the Global Justice, Love and Peace Summit, I count on your patience as His Excellency makes his way into the venue. Thank you so much for being so patient with us. In a few minutes, he's going to grace us with his presence and provide you with a very impactful opening for the day two. Thank you so much for being patient with us. Continue to sip on your tea or your coffee, and I'll be here to provide you with more information. Thank you. A very good morning once again, dear delegates, distinguished guests, and respected leaders. As the sun rises on day two of the Global Justice, Love and Peace Summit, it brings us with a sense of renewal. Yesterday, this hall echoed with powerful stories, heartfelt reflections, and courageous commitments. Today, we rise with purpose. With a round of applause, please, may I ask you to welcome His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, UAE's Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence. Thank you, Your Excellency, for gracing us with your presence. It is truly an honor for each one of us in this room today and those joining us virtually to experience your presence and to bask in your opening session. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to commence day 2 of the Global Justice, Peace and Love Summit. Yesterday, these halls echoed with powerful stories, heartfelt reflections, and courageous commitments. Today, we rise with purpose. To open the summit, it gives me great honor and privilege to present to you His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, UAE's Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence. May we please welcome him on stage with a huge round of applause to grace us with an opening speech.
Chairman Faiza, distinguished guests, summit participants, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here with you at this Global Justice, Love and Peace Summit. The summit promises to be very stimulating and rewarding. It's a great pleasure to welcome all of you to Dubai and to the United Arab Emirates. Your presence here at Expo City in Dubai demonstrates the importance of gathering together to explore and share ideas about the major issues facing our world. I thank the Doctor, Chairman of the Summit and founder of the World Peacekeepers Movement, for his vision and effort. I share in your aspirations at this summit of creating a global force of doers and thinkers, a community with noble characteristics, extraordinary intelligence, serious responsibilities, and common purpose centered on spreading justice, love, and peace around this troubled world. I share in your belief that this global force of doers and thinkers can reinforce our conviction that shared values and ideas can bind us closely together when they are sincerely and passionately articulated. Ladies and gentlemen, I had a great deal of difficulty thinking about what to say to you today. You are a very distinguished group of thought leaders, activists, and change makers, whose accomplishments have already benefited the world. How am I to interest you and not to bore you with cliches and platitudes? After giving the matter much thought, I decided that my message to you today is that we must turn inward and cultivate special attributes. In short, we must become wise. Wisdom entails reasoning ability, learning from ideas and the environment, good judgment, expeditious use of information, and keen understanding. Wisdom requires that we are well informed and receptive to new ideas and concepts. Wise people exhibit exceptional insight into human development and have the ability to see through and understand puzzling matters. And they can communicate their wisdom effectively. We all have undoubtedly encountered a person whom we have considered wise in the United Arab Emirates. For example, we saw wisdom personified in the founder of our nation, the late Sheikh Zayed, known widely as the wise man of the Arabs. He accumulated knowledge and drew upon it routinely. And wisdom has continued to mark the leadership of the United Arab Emirates, much to our great fortune. Our President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and the Vice President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, have appreciated the value of wisdom and have cultivated the attributes that lead to wise actions. Their wisdom has made the United Arab Emirates a country of progress, prosperity, justice, and stability. My dear friends, I strongly believe that only by acting wisely we will move the global community to focus on issues of common concerns and to seek solutions for the most important problems of our time. It will be our wisdom, in my view, that will ensure an economic prosperity that will reach everyone in the future and lead to better living conditions for all regions of the world. It will be our wisdom that will help reach everyone. There's something going on. Be our wisdom. It will be our wisdom that will enable youth, women, and all segments of society to achieve their full potential. It will be our wisdom that will bring about and strengthen peace among nations and will promote and ensure respect and human rights for everyone. It will be our wisdom that will allow us to resolve conflicts through peaceful means. We act together, and it will be our wisdom that will promote peace, justice, tolerance, love, and human dignity around the world. Together and through our collective wisdom, We must be change makers and be able to convince others to share our vision for the future. We must be willing to take risks, to experiment, to be different, and to not be afraid to fail or to learn from experience. My advice to you today is that you should consider the merit of such risks. Let us risk becoming wise human beings who can build on the unprecedented achievements of others. Let this Justice, Love and Peace Summit be a celebration of wisdom, the universal prize that we can all earn. Along with you, I look forward to the many discussions that you will have today. Every topic demands our attention if we are to be truly wise. And we know already that every topic cries out for wisdom, justice, peace, and global economy, world health, sustainability, competent leadership, education, the arts, poverty, hunger. We need wisdom, and more wisdom. I wish the summit every success. I look forward to its successful continuation for many, many years into the future. Thank you all for coming. God bless you all. Wish you continuous success. Thank you.
His Excellency, all of you, let's please give him a round of applause for that very encouraging opening session. We are truly privileged to have you in our presence. May I please request on stage Dr. Habil Korakiwala, the chairman of WalkHeart, Dr. Josefa Korakiwala, to do us the honors of handing over a token of our humble appreciation to His Excellency for his time, his presence, and truly for his message to all of us here and as a nation to the world. Could we please invite on stage Dr. Murtaza Korakiwala, the Managing Director of WalkHeart, please. We would now like His Excellency to honor us by extending a memento to Dr. Habil. Please also invite on stage Zahabia Korakiwala. Join us on stage, please. more to go. We have one more memento to go, please. May I please invite on stage Gabriel Wong and Lily Hong as the Peace Patrons to be awarded by His Excellency. Could we please have Gabriel Wong and Lily Hong on stage, please? Right, ladies and gentlemen, I hand over to the man of the hour, Dr. Josefa, to conduct a small thank you for His Excellency's presence.
I would just like to say a small gratitude to His Excellency Sheikh Nayan bin Mubarak Al Nayan for coming here. And when I met him, he said, human values, we should do the summit. I requested him. He said, if you do only one thing, add the word justice in the human values. So the word justice in this summit has come because His Excellency Sheikh Nayan bin Mubarak Al Nayan told me, and it is an honor that we give it to him. And justice is the foundation of all the human values. So thank you, His Excellency, for coming here, gracing this occasion, and giving a light to this event. And it's a great honor to have you here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Once again, a big thank you to His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, UAE's Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence, for making the time to come and grace Day 2 Summit of the Global Justice, Love and Peace. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm sure all of you today have taken many, many mental notes. As His Excellency has said, wisdom is everything, and sharing that wisdom will do the world a lot more good than keeping it to yourself. We'll take a few minutes to let His Excellency follow protocol and safely exit, and then we shall continue with the Day 2 Summit. Thank you everyone for your patience. Kindly stay seated. We'll be back in just a moment. Gentlemen, with this, we are now all set, warmed up, and ready for the day 2 of the Global Justice, Love and Peace Summit. What a morning that was. What an opening. I think our stage has never been set so right and so ready for an impactful day. My name is Enid Pitchin, and what a pleasure it was to be your host yesterday. I'm back with renewed energy for day 2, and I hope you are as well. A quick recap on what our summit is based on. We embrace 7 goals based on which this summit was curated. To speak with gentleness the language of the world that urgently needs to learn. To take giant strides towards global justice, love, and peace. To cultivate a generous spirit among the world's most influential voices. To remain genuine in our promises to act with grace. And above all, to ignite a glorious chapter, one that history will remember. Today, we are going to be graced by world leaders, Nobel laureates, spiritual teachers, industrial pioneers, and peace builders. Yet, each one of us, no matter our title, holds an equal power to listen, to reflect, and most importantly, to transform. So let day 2 be a reminder and a mirror. Let today challenge you, let it renew you, and let it remind you. The future is not something that we inherit. It is something we shape. With that, ladies and gentlemen, dear peacemakers, may I please invite you to stay in your seats. We have a few housekeeping rules and information that I'd like to share with you. We believe in sustainability, and that is what the UAE stands for. Therefore, the Dubai Expo is a plastic-free environment. May I please request you all stay hydrated with the water dispensers on either side of the hall. We have paper cups there for you. For the rest of you, please may you make sure your phones remain on silent. Now, technology is a massive blessing, but sometimes can get in the way. So please ensure that your phones are on silent. Be engaged with our sessions. Keep the phones down. We're recording everything and promise to give you access. For the rest of you in the room, continue to have those conversations, continue to network. We'll be back with more very, very shortly. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a wonderful performance put together by all of our face leaders in the organizing committee. Now, this is done so we set the tone right for day 2 and leave you with an impactful impression. Please may we welcome on stage our ballet performers to grace the day and start us on the right note. Thank you very much. Yalla. Thank you so much to our lovely ballet dancers. Could we please give them a round of applause for those of you that are still with us in the crowd? Thank you. Right. I think that's a lovely note to start Day 2 Summit on. Now, I promise you, if you thought yesterday was amazing, wait till you see what we have in store for you today. The agenda is going to highlight for you all the lovely, insightful, informative, impactful topics and titles of each session. So please feel free to flick through and make yourself familiar. For the next session, I will be inviting on stage Dr. Josefa. However, for now, I'd love to share with you a pledge. May I please have you on stage, Dr. Josefa, so we can take the pledge for the day. For gentlemen and ladies in the audience, please may you rise, place your right hand on your heart, and let's take the pledge.
The pledge is the following. I commit myself to global justice, love, and peace, and will spread it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Josefa. Thank you. Right. Anecdotally, I would love to continue sharing small pockets of information so this can enlighten how we've curated these 2 days at the summit. These 7 chairs for the delegates. I'm sure all of you, if you look around your tables, we've got little notes on your chairs, and this is done very, very carefully and very, very purposefully. So we've got some words on these chairs. Take a look at the one that you're sitting on. Let me tell you the names of the chairs that we have around. Gratitude, forgiveness, love, humility, patience, giving, and the truth. Now sit with these words for a few minutes. How amazing is that? Just the power of a single word. So everybody sitting on that chair today, make note of the word that you're sitting on and move throughout the day with that word in your mind. Let that word guide your conversation, guide your actions, and inform you today. Let that be the word of the day for you. With that, ladies and gentlemen, may I please request on stage Mr. Hiren to bring in the next session and invite our moderators and our panelists. We'll have a small light little music in the background. We need 60 seconds to get this show on the road. Please may I request the housekeeper. There's water dispensers on the sides. Use the paper cups. Keep your phones down. Put them on silent. We'll be back in a few minutes as soon as our stage is ready with the sofas. Thank you very much, and thank you for your patience.
Forgive sometime with love that's blind. Calm stormy rivers, faith makes them calm. Would step in, grab her little finger, plant a kiss upon her chin. If I could give a bee what I'd like to receive, it wouldn't be poorer for it, that I firmly believe. A hug is all it takes to iron out that crease. Let's hug one another and love the world to be. Falls to the ground. Let all the world and its violence just drop and lose its sound. Oh, to be like a child, letting go my ego just for a while. Grown up, but my heart is so young and matured, but I still have fun. Each moment is a bliss. I'm happy the way it is. We are bringing forward, forward.
session 1 of day 2. We have on stage our MC to help us out with this session. The title of the day is Faith as a Bridge. Can religion and spirituality unite a divided world? What an exciting title. I suggest all of you please make sure you take your seats, maintain silence and decorum. Our panelists are going to join us on stage. Gentlemen and ladies in the back and in the coffee area, may I please request you to join us in the main hall. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and over to you, Hiren. Thank you.
A very good morning to all our speakers, our distinguished guests, our esteemed set of awardees. Thank you so much for being here, showing us your support for this massive Global Justice Love Peace Summit that we're doing here in Dubai, and welcoming each and every one to this beautiful, magnificent city of Dubai. And thanks, Enid. So this is Hiren Joshi, and I will be the MC for the first session. As she just said, it's basically on faith as a bridge. Can religion and spirituality unite a divided world? Therefore, going forward, we'll be deeply honored to welcome as our moderator today a remarkable leader whose vision is both rooted in values and shaped by a rare blend of business insight and cultural grace. Dr. Sahitya Chaturvedi, Secretary General of the Indian Business and Professional Council in Dubai and the Chief Financial Officer of Ajmal Perfumes. Dr. Chaturvedi is not only a respected figure in the realms of finance and enterprise, but also a true bridge builder, connecting communities, faiths, and institutions with purpose and care. He has long been a champion of interfaith dialogue, ethical leadership, and inclusive progress throughout the region. Through his leadership at IBPC and his influential role in the private sector, he has helped shine a light on Dubai as a place where cooperation rises above borders, be they national, religious, or cultural. So may we have Dr. Sahitya Chaturvedi, our moderator for the event, to come up and grace the podium. Dr. Sahitya Chaturvedi, thank you so much. We're waiting for you. Please come up on the stage. Moving forward to our eminent list of panelists, a star-studded panelist list is what we have for this particular session. To begin with, it'll be my honor to announce that our next panelist is a revered Jain monk, teacher, and global voice for peace. His Holiness, Dr. Lokesh Muniji Acharya, founder of Ahimsa Vishwa Bharati and the World Peace Center, a tireless promoter of non-violence, interfaith harmony, and spiritual values. His Holiness has addressed forums across the world, including the United Nations and Parliament of World Religions. He reminds us that non-violence is not merely an act, it is a way of life rooted in reverence for all living beings. So may we please have His Holiness on the stage, our first panelist. Moving on to our second panelist, joining us is Father Dr. Robbie Kananchira, a Catholic priest and tireless advocate for interreligious dialogue and youth empowerment. As the director of Shanti Thiram, a center for peace and spiritual education, Father Robbie has worked to bridge divides through education, music, and shared service. He reminds us that faith is not just what we profess, but what we practice in service to others. So could we have our moderator, Dr. Chaturvedi, and two of our panelists, His Holiness Lokesh Muniji and Father Dr. Robbie, to please grace our podium and make their presence on the stage. Thank you so much. The next panelist is... Thank you so much. Our next panelist is Pujya Brahma Vihari Swami, an inspiring spiritual leader, global humanitarian, and senior monk of the BAPS Swami Narayan Sanstha. He has spoken at the United Nations, British Parliament, and the Vatican, and has led historic interfaith delegations worldwide. A creative thinker and dynamic speaker, he is known for building bridges of dialogue, empathy, and service across continents. So may we please have... Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And moving forward, now we welcome Imam Muhammad Tawhidi, a prominent Islamic scholar, reformist, and Vice President of the Global Imams Council. Based in Australia, Imam Tawhidi is known for his outspoken stance against extremism and his passionate advocacy for interfaith dialogue, religious reform, and peaceful coexistence. He reminds us that true Islam stands for peace, not just in principle, but in courageous practice. Thank you so much, and we are honored to have all our esteemed panelists with us on the stage. Please be comfortable, and over to you, Dr. Chaturvedi. All the very best, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, Father Robbie, please.
Good morning, Namaskar, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, Sat Sri Akal, and the pranam, dandavat, the whatever regards from the heart, from the humility, the humbleness, we can say today. Today is a red letter day in the history where on the earth of United Arab Emirates, this type of the gathering where the global justice, peace, love, and humanity is being addressed by the top leaders, not just the religion. I can say the top leaders who are not just known for the politics, the top leaders who are representing the communities. When we ask the communities, today, this forum, I believe, is a representation of entire world. In regards to myself, my own, I come from a city, the holy city, which is Mathura, the birthplace of Lord Krishna. Krishna is known as Jagat Guru. And from the childhood, what we learn, the Jagat is one family. The Vasudha, the earth is one. The earth is one community. The earth is one family. That's why Vatsudhaiva Kutumbakam. Today, we have the eminent speakers. So regards to you, sir. To set the tone of the discussion, I will like to have a permission to sit with you because you are the acharyas, the gurus, the community leaders, the religious faith leaders. And as the world needs the bridges over the beliefs. Because the faith as a bridge can be addressed today, that can religion and spirituality unite the divided world? May we have a dividend of peace today from this summit where we can address that can the faith leaders model the moral courage needed to foster the reconciliation? Can the interfaith dialogue build trust where politics have failed? How do spiritual teachings promote dignity, mutual respect, and peace across the beliefs? What a role can shared rituals, sacred texts, and services play to heal the fractured society? These are not the questions. These are the things that everyone, each and every one in the society, in the community, in the today's divided world, where the beliefs are known as barriers. Everyone respect the Almighty. We are part of nature, but those beliefs, can the faith, how that spiritual communities help us to counter the extremism, the radicals, and to cultivate the belongingness. So I know that the great leader, Acharya, Jain Acharya, Lokesh Muniji is with us, who has set the first peace center in India, and he is a founder of Ahimsa Vishwabharati. Also, we know Acharya Brahma Bihari Ji with us, who has set the temple of tolerance. The introduction will be too less if I continue to speak, as the eminent leader, Father Dr. Ravi Kanchira, a Catholic priest, is with us, and we have our Imam Muhammad Tawadi, a prominent Islamic scholar, senior Imam of Global Imams Council. He has been in Australia, also in the North America and UAE. Imam is known for outspoken stances. So to open the discussion, I believe there are some speakers online as well. So in the online, I know that Her Excellency Irina Volkova, she is online. If not, then we'll continue. Swamiji, my pranam to you. Jai Swaminarayan.
Jai Swaminarayan.
Since the time that this temple of tolerance in UAE was founded and grounded, and we have been witness of the work, the sympathy, the community involvement, we know that Swaminarayan is known as one of the Sanatan Dharma Sampradaya, again as a faith or belief. What does faith as a bridge truly mean to you?
I personally believe that whenever I think of faith as a bridge, the first person I remember is our most beloved President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Because I think we should give him a big hand, because he was a person. He had the power to inspire not just our nation, but religious leaders. I remember once in 2004, he came to address our Golden Jubilee of Children's activities in Gandhinagar, Akshardham. And this was after that Akshardham temple was attacked by extremist terrorists, where 33 people had been killed. And when I talk to you, I talk through experience and through the pain and the idea of going beyond that pain. And that's where Dr. Kalam, as the President of India, he had come in the presence of His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj. And he gave one idea. What an idea. I want all religious leaders on the stage and all you people who believe in harmony to imagine this idea. He said, every religion is a beautiful orchard. It is complete in itself with the best flowers, the best fruits, the best rivers, and everything is like a beautiful organic microcosm. But then he said, they are all beautiful, but they are like islands. It's like an archipelago of islands, beautiful but disconnected. It is the role of religious leaders to become the bridge to connect these islands, and then we'll have a beautiful environment on this earth. If you keep blaming religions, it's not correct. And if we keep blaming the followers, who made them? So religion can be the bridges if religious leaders become the bridge. And if religious leaders, as His Holiness Pramukh Swami often said, that if you put His Holiness Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, in one room, Lord Krishna in one room, Jesus Christ in one room, Bhagwan Swaminarayan in one room, Lord Buddha in one room, they live peacefully together, But if you put a Buddhist, a Christian, a Muslim, or a Jew, they'll fight their guts off. We need to transmit this to our followers, and we can become the bridges. Thank you.
Wow. So excellent coverage that how can the bridge the faiths. Acharya Lokesh Muni ji. Ahimsa parmo dharma is the message what we all have seen from Jainism. In the today's world, in the modern world, when we go with the very specific rules, regulations, do's and don'ts, how the morality, spirituality, and with the emotions, how we can reclaim the role of faith in healing the humanitarians?
बहुत सुंदर प्रश्न किया है और मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा स्वामी जी की बात को आगे बढ़ाते हुए कि दरअसल धर्म और संप्रदाय जब तक हम इसको पृथक पृथक नहीं समझेंगे, धर्म है जैसा आपने कहा अहिंसा, क्षमा, मैत्री, करुणा, प्यार, प्रेम, और जितना भी विवाद है वो है मजहब का, पंथ का, संप्रदाय का। और इसलिए अपेक्षा है धर्म को अध्यात्म से जोड़ा जाए, और जब धर्म को अध्यात्म से जोड़ते हैं तब जैसा आपने कहा हीलिंग की बात, संवेदनाओं की बात, लेकिन हमारी दुनिया का ये सबसे बड़ा विरोधाभास है। अहिंसा के फल चाहते हैं, शांति के फल सभी चाहते हैं, किंतु दुनिया की तमाम सरकारें प्रतिवर्ष अपने बजट के अंदर नए अस्त्र शस्त्रों के निर्माण के लिए, उसकी रिसर्च के लिए अनाप शनाप बजट खर्च करती है। आज अपेक्षा इस बात की है, बदलाव का एक ही जरिया है और वो जरिया है एजुकेशन। मॉडर्न एजुकेशन सिस्टम हमारे लेफ्ट हेमिस्फीयर को जगाने का काम कर रहा है, जो कि बुद्धि, गणित, तर्क के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, किंतु हमारा राइट हेमिस्फीयर जो इंट्यूशन पावर के लिए, जो स्पिरिचुअल डेवलपमेंट के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है। ये एक सन्यासी होने के नाते मैं नहीं कह रहा हूं, ये विज्ञान सम्मत तथ्य है कि हमारे इसी मस्तिष्क में एनिमल ब्रेन भी मौजूद है जहां पर पांचविक वृत्तियां जन्म लेती है, और इसी मस्तिष्क में नियोकॉर्टेक्स परत भी है जहां पर मानवीय और दैविक वृत्तियां जन्म लेती है। आज अपेक्षा इस बात की है, मॉडर्न एजुकेशन सिस्टम शारीरिक शिक्षा पे ध्यान दे रहा है, बौद्धिक शिक्षा पर बहुत कुछ ध्यान दे रहा है, किंतु मेंटल डेवलपमेंट एंड इमोशनल डेवलपमेंट, आपने जिस संवेदनाओं की बात की है, एक व्यक्ति गाड़ी लेके जा रहा था, ट्रैफिक पुलिस वाले ने देखा कि रात का समय लाइट नहीं, गाड़ी रोकने की कोशिश की कि भैया गाड़ी कहाँ दौड़ा रहे हो, उसके लाइट भी नहीं है। ड्राइवर ने कहा बीच में से हट जा नहीं तो मारा जाएगा, इसके ब्रेक भी नहीं है। वह गाड़ी कितनी खतरनाक होगी जिसके लाइट भी ना हो, जिसकी ब्रेक भी ना हो। वह इंसान कितना खतरनाक होगा जिसका अपना इंट्यूशन पावर नहीं है, जिसके अपने इमोशंस और पेशेंस पर नियंत्रण नहीं। आज अपेक्षा इस बात की है कि हम एजुकेशन सिस्टम में शारीरिक और बौद्धिक विकास के साथ साथ मेंटल डेवलपमेंट, इमोशनल डेवलपमेंट के लिए, और इसलिए मैं कहूंगा कि पीस एजुकेशन जैसे कार्यक्रमों को इंट्रोड्यूस करने की जरूरत है, जिससे कि हमारी मानवीय संवेदनाओं के साथ, उस करुणा के साथ, उस कंपेशन के साथ, महात्मा गांधी से पूछा कि आज का संकट क्या है, उन्होंने कहा करुणा का स्रोत सूखता जा रहा है। आइए बंधुओं, हम सब मिलकर के इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के माध्यम से ये प्रेरणा लेके उस दिशा में आगे बढ़ सके।
बहुत सुंदर, बहुत सुंदर। I think he endorsed, I can't translate the entire conversation, but in a brief, that emotional intelligence and emotional knowledge and emotional education is much more important. Simultaneously with the modern education, the Macaulay's style of the studies, what we are doing, along with the career-based education, there must be a knowledge-based where the emotions can be nurtured, where the emotions can be matured. In Sanskrit also, there is a famous saying that Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayat patratvam vapnoti, patratvam dhanat vapnoti, dhanat dharmah tatat sukham. It is a complete sequence that how the education brings to the politeness, and the politeness gives, makes a person responsible for the society, and then that wealth what the person earns, that becomes a charity, and from that charity, the earned money, the reserve fund, makes the happiness and the pleasant life. So, in this continuation, now as we have heard a very specific Jainism way of thoughts and philosophy, may I come to Islam. When we talk Islam, many of the times the people get sensitive. So, and when a senior imam is with us, and I requested him, okay, do you allow me to open the questions? He said, you can ask me anything. Even just don't ask me about my family life. But to be sure, as he clarified, although Islam allows 4 marriages, but he is married with one only so far. So we can't hold that emotion, sir. The talk of emotion has started, but to come on the topic, how can Islamic teachings promote peaceful coexistence and multicultural societies?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thank you all for the opportunity. Islam, to begin with, is a religion from God. And God Almighty does not introduce anything that is violent or extremist or anything that leads to terrorism. Our Lord is the Lord of peace and harmony. Our Lord is the Lord of unity, of coexistence, of mutual respect. He's the Lord of love and mercy. And therefore, anything that comes down from God Almighty has to be positive, has to be coated in mercy, and leads to nothing other than peace. The very first verse in the Holy Quran is always in the start of the surah of the Holy Quran, except for Surah At-Tawbah, is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the most kind, most merciful. Why does the Quran not start the chapters with, in the name of God, the most loving? Right? That would also be beautiful. Why is it the most merciful? Because mercy is the real basis for love, for justice, for coexistence. Let me give you an example. If someone was to hurt your family deeply, let's say someone was speeding and caused the death of a loved one to you, you may be able to forgive that person, but it's very hard to fall in love with them. Therefore, mercy is more powerful than even love itself. And that is why it is always the opening of our chapters, except for the one I mentioned. When you have a theology that is based on mercy and coexistence, it becomes the norm to be practicing in your religion and not to be an extremist, because the core faith leads you to only what God sent down, and God only sends down what is harmonious, peaceful, and respectful to other people. Can I just say that, yes, my bell is going to ring, nothing's going to blow up, but I'll take 20 more seconds with your permission.
Please go ahead, sir.
The mention that you did in your introduction about some fractured societies, we have to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thank the gods you worship, that we are gathered today in a country where it is not fractured. This country is not bleeding, and it is very vibrant, very strong, very welcoming, and credit needs to be given. This country did not find itself in this way as a miracle. There were real men who worked hard to build this country. And the very top, when we remember, is our father, Sheikh Zayed, rahimahullah, and the current president. These are two names you must never forget. His Highness President Mohammed bin Zayed. If there is one man who is fighting the extremism that you're mentioning, one man that has crushed the Muslim Brotherhood, it is him. And therefore, when it comes to giving credit where credit is due, these two names must always be mentioned in any peace summit. There is harmony and coexistence, and we are able to welcome brothers and sisters from different faiths because there is a wise leadership at the very top of this country. Thank you.
Most welcome, sir. Absolutely. This country where I think if we go in 2023, as we heard that the UAE inaugurated an Abrahamic family house. So it's not just for the one thought or the one belief or the one faith. It is for the Almighty. The cultural village is in this place where the temple of tolerance, the Hinduism is available, where the Gurudwara present. So definitely there is a message of mercy, a message of peace and coexistence. Father, may I know you are a doctorate, Reverend Dr. Rovi Karnichura, CMI. How do you see that, as you are mentioning that you are the only Catholic Indian in the representative priest in the country, how the Christianity, from the core of your religion, we all know the charity and mercy, these are the common factors. But in this today's world, when there is a high congestion or the traffic of the beliefs, how do you ride the car? And what can be a common bridge for a human being, for the entire mankind and civilization?
Thank you, Sagitji. And loving greetings from India. Being a Catholic priest, I think I am the only Catholic priest from India. India, we know that it's a cradle of religions and coexistence. And before entering to the answer, let me express my sincere appreciation and congratulations to Dr. Uzaifa Kurai Kivala, the mastermind behind this Great Global Justice, Love and Peace Summit 2025, on organizing this historic event that brought together peace-loving global leaders from different corners of the world at the Dubai Exhibition Center. My sincere appreciation. And I am really honored to be here. And as all of you know, today, being a Catholic priest and a Christian representative in this summit, today the entire Christian world is entering to Holy Week with the Palm Sunday. And Palm Sunday greetings to all of you, especially to the Christians, those who are here. And as we all know, Christianity focuses on love, justice, compassion, and peace, hope, and forgiveness. And we know that Jesus said, you love one another as you love yourself. And you love your enemy. And forgive the trespassers. All these things, all these virtues, we find in different religions also. But my faith in Jesus Christ helps me to accept, respect, and even celebrate my fellow pilgrims. I used to celebrate the month of Ramayana in my center as the director of Chavara Cultural Center, an interreligious center promoting peace and harmony through art, literature, and cultural interactions. I had been there in Kerala, almost 15 to 20 years. I used to celebrate month of Ramayana every year. I used to celebrate Eid al-Fitr, Maghrib prayer in my own center every year without fail.
Amazing, amazing.
And Diwali. And all the festivals, Guru Nanak Jayanti, and all the festivals together. And even my Catholic friends, Christian friends asked me, being a Catholic priest, why should you celebrate the other festivals? My answer was, and still is, simple. The celebrating the other means celebrating the divine in you and me. The celebrating the other means celebrating the divine in you and me. I am not losing my faith if I celebrate the other. I am not diluting my faith. I am not compromising my faith. Because if I have a strong conviction in my own faith and traditions, I can accept you, I can respect you, and I can celebrate you because you are different from me. You hold a different faith. So, to have a strong conviction in one's own faith will help us to embrace the other, to embrace the humanity. So, thank you so much for the first session.
Most welcome, Father. Certainly that faith becomes a bridge when it lived with humility, not just spoken with pride. You made the examples of the cohesiveness. And now in this sequence, as we all are exchanging the thoughts and coming to a one conclusion that the Almighty is one, the Word is one. Now, as we go to a spiritual place, the holy place, a divine place, Swamiji, the question comes in my mind, and it recollects the memory of 3 years back when there was under construction during Expo 20 time in the same sessions when we were, entire world was in town and one delegation of the journalists came to temple. What types of the constraints, being a faith-based country, let me be very bold to say, a Islamic country, and that's where एक शिखरदार मंदिर जहाँ पर ध्वजा फहराती है, where the kinds of 33 kinds of the god and goddess, those statues, sculptures, the ancient images. How did you think and what constraints and what did allow you to be instrumental leader, torchbearer for the Temple of Tolerance?
I think this session is very frank, free, and open. Without a frank, free, and open discussions, and if I don't speak my heart, it will not reach your hearts. I have to be very frank and tell you that almost 1,000 people told me that there can't be a temple in this country. 1,000 people. And not of this league. But my spiritual leader, His Holiness Pramukh Swami, had told me in 1997, when it was very difficult to imagine that sadhus clad in orange would go across to Abu Dhabi. He had said a prayer in my mind, in my ears, that may there be a temple in Abu Dhabi and may it bring countries, cultures, and religions closer together. It wasn't about preaching a religion. It was about teaching harmony. And when I met His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, I agree 100% with what His Excellency the Imam has spoken. I was there in the palace. I was hesitant. And I actually asked His Highness that we can build a very small temple which looks like a normal, conventional Abu Dhabi building and hide our gods. Look at the generosity of the leader. He said, if it's a temple, it should look like a temple and let the world celebrate. Without such generosity, it couldn't have happened. And without the prayer of my spiritual leader, it couldn't have happened. And I sit before you to tell you the temple did happen. More than 1,000 images and everything have been placed beautifully. The whole of India is celebrating. But in the last 1 year, more than 2.5 million people from different countries, religions, and races have come and said a prayer for harmony. It's not about religion. God smiles when he sees a global summit like this on this earth. We are bringing a smile to his lips.
Thank you. A big round of applause. Your Excellency Imam Sahib, in your narratives, it was so impactful, with the passion, with the so truthness and honesty when you addressed the common factors, not for just following a person, a fellow of a faith, or the follower of a faith, but a mankind. In your leadership, you are internationally recognized personality, spoken person. How do you engage with the other religious leaders, and what type of the challenges do you face while as a voice of moderation? May you please give some highlights on that.
There is a golden Islamic rule that was established by Imam Ali alayhi salam and radiyallahu an, who the majority of the Muslims see him to be the fourth caliph, but he's the cousin of our beloved Prophet. And for other Muslims, he is seen as the first caliph. Nevertheless, he's an Islamic icon, which is why this statement is very, very important, where he says that people are of two kinds. People are of two kinds, either your brothers in faith or your equals in humanity. So the panelists are not my brothers in faith, but they are my equals in humanity. And when you acknowledge that the counterpart is your equal in humanity, then the idea that you should change them vanishes. And I think if we take a step back and decide what should we call this? Should we call this tolerance? Because the UAE began this culture of tolerance in this region. A troubled region, the Middle East, was before this phenomenal leadership established the current pillars of society. But we've gone a step further now into acceptance. Because tolerance means I tolerate you, I don't have to accept you. But the UAE has really established the culture of acceptance where I accept you the way you are, with no need for me to proselytize and change you and tell you that you're wrong and that I'm right and you're not going to make it to heaven. In fact, if we go back to the Holy Quran, we find that the descriptions of paradise, God describes paradise as a very large place, right? 7 heavens. And when God describes hellfire, it's a very small place, which means what? Which means that our Lord is not the Lord of hellfire. And it also means that the majority of people are going to end up in paradise. Why? Because our Lord is the Lord of mercy, the Lord of harmony, not the Lord of torture. Those who end up in hellfire are the murderers. ISIS, for example, they take themselves with their actions to punishment via the justice of God. But our God, in principle, is the God that wants to see all of us in paradise, and therefore there is no need for me to impose my faith on you. And without this belief that imposing a faith is necessary, we have come to the beautiful reality that a Muslim and a Hindu and a Jew and a Christian and a Buddhist and a Jain and a Sikh and others can all live together and worship together under one roof, under one rule of law that protects you, provides for you in terms of services, equal rights, and freedom of worship. So I think the solution is found in the text, but requires a courageous leader to implement the text on the ground. And that's what we have in the UAE.
Wow. I think the leader has already given here today. See, I was going to ask the name, and the leader is standing and walking in the hall. Otherwise, this talk was not possible. Definitely, the solution from the text to the implementation. What an excellent solution, given your excellence. Adarani Muniji, Acharya Charan. We have learned in Hinduism or Sanatan that paropkarat punyaya papaya parpijanam, that if we go for the punya, that is a charity, and the pap, the sin, is you are harming, you are a crime in any type, any kind of the type of the crime. Because the human being want a inner peace. Now that inner peace, antarik shanti, how do you relate with outer harmony? So my question is to you, sir, that how the inner peace can be related to outer harmony, and categorically from the Jain philosophy.
बहुत सुंदर प्रश्न है फिर से। आंतरिक शांति और विश्व शांति, मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि मन की शांति के बगैर विश्व शांति भी संभव नहीं है। और आंतरिक शांति के लिए मेडिसिन नहीं, मेडिटेशन जरिया है। जैन दर्शन के 3 शब्द हैं, मनोगुप्ति, वचन गुप्ति और काया गुप्ति। मनोयोग, वचन योग और काया योग। मनोविज्ञान के क्षेत्र में फ्रायड ने मन पर बहुत चिंतन किया। कार्ल गुस्ताव युंग ने उससे आगे साइक पर, चित्त पर प्रकाश डाला। भगवान महावीर ने उससे आगे जाकर के उन्होंने भाव जगत और लेस्या की बात कही। जब तक भीतर से हमारा अंतःकरण शुद्ध नहीं होता है, तब तक बाह्य शांति और सद्भावना नहीं होती है। इसलिए आंतरिक शुद्धि के लिए, और महावीर ये भी कहते हैं, कषाय मुक्ति किल मुक्ति रेवे। क्रोध, मान, माया, लोभ, यानी कि आंतरिक शुद्धि। सोई उज्जूय भूयष्टे धम्मो शुद्धस चिट्टई। आध्यात्मिक, धार्मिक और हार्मनी के लिए आंतरिक शुद्धि की जरूरत है, और उस शुद्धि का जरिया है हम अपने आप को अंतर जगत में प्रवेश करें और मेडिटेशन को उसका माध्यम बनाएं। थैंक यू।
So I think we can continue the entire day. Why only 1 hour? When such the spiritual leaders are among us. But the topic of today is how the faith can build the bridges. So my question again goes to Father. What will you like to say upon that? How the faiths can make the bridges? What is your opinion on that? As we will be going towards the conclusion of this panel very shortly, otherwise one another bell will be sung. But for the audience, that well, as the spiritual leaders are here, in the temple also we use bell, in the church also we use the bell, and it is an alarm of appreciation, the alarm of kirtana, alarm of not just to the time, It's an appreciation. So if you are belling the bell, ringing the bell, don't think that it is a stop watch. So we can continue on that. Let the subject be concluded. So Father, request to you that how the faith can play a role as a bridge.
It's a good question. And to me, if I have a strong conviction and deep-rooted experience in my own faith, I can make bridges, not barriers. Each one should have a strong experience in their own religious life, their own faithful life. Then you can accept the other. So the bonds that unite us are stronger than the barriers that separate us. There are a lot of bonds. The summit itself is a great bond of love that brought us together. And we have to strengthen the bonds that is given by every religion. Means that is through love, compassion, forgiveness, mercy, generosity, charity. And all this must be the personal experience of the faithful. Then it will become bridge, not the barrier. So whenever I ask, as I told you, I just spoke to my own friends that we must celebrate the other without losing our faith. We must uphold our faith without hurting others. In order to say that my faith is good, why should I say that the others is bad? So we need to appreciate and celebrate the differences without giving up our uniqueness. You are unique and me too. And accepting and respecting the uniqueness and celebrate the differences. So when you start celebrating, peace comes. Peace begins when you start celebrating the other. Thank you.
Swamiji, will you like to add on this?
As a conclusion, I would like to share one real story.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
And
In fact,
I really wanted to tell you one thing. And very rightly, because we are doing this summit in UAE, Koryaki it's a very private incident, and I've taken the permission of His Highness that I would like to share this.
please.
That when I went to meet him in his palace, and I said one thing, I said, Your Highness, I've been really wanting to personally thank you for allowing us to build this temple. Because imagine a Muslim king donating land to a Hindu temple where our lead architect is a Christian Catholic, where our construction company is a Parsi, where our foundation designer is a Buddhist, where our project director is a Sikh, and where the chairman of the Hindu Mandir comes from a Jain tradition. So I said that you have created an ideal place and sent a signal to the world. But look at the humility of His Highness. Standing in the palace, he told me, he said, Your Holiness, this is where you are wrong. And I said, what? He said, it is not I you need to thank my father, Sheikh Zayed, because I am not worthy of walking in his shadows. Find me a leader in this world who is so humble. But that's when he told me one story, and I have taken his permission to share it with you. He said, Your Holiness, when I was a young boy, for a holiday, I had gone to Tanzania. And there I had gone to see the Maasais in Serengeti. And when I came back, my father, Sheikh Zayed, asked me that, Muhammad, what did you do? So I told him, Father, that I saw the Maasais, they're courageous, they've got stamina, they've got tradition, they are fearless, they're amazing. And my father asked me again, he said, no, I asked you, what did you do? He said, I've just told you what I did. He said, no, what did you do for them? And I said, but Father, but they are not Muslims. And that's when Sheikh Zayed said that God created the whole world. Everybody on this earth has been created by God, including the birds, the animals, and the insects. Go back and do something for the Messiahs and then come back. His Highness Muhammad, he went back to Tanzania, and with the help of other people, they dug 29 wells, and today thousands of Messiahs flourish around those wells. This is the nation, and this is the nature of the leader here. And it is not by accident that we've created a global community that shares faiths and appreciates everybody. This is in his eyes and his heart, and this is what I've learned. If there is a place under the roof and under the sun where everybody feels welcome, fearless, accepted, as you said, this is the nation. And congratulations, Dr. Saab, for selecting this place to do the Global Summit. Very appropriate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Really, the entire summarization and the conclusion came in the one narrative. As we are assembled with the business community as well, and it will not be justice if I don't represent them on this podium, and I will take the liberty of requesting Imam Sahib to highlight on that how the spiritual and business communities can work together to promote the peace.
I am not a businessman.
That's why I'm asking you, sir.
Religion can be a good business. I don't think we're involved in that. I strongly believe that if God loves a businessman, and if God wants the best for a businessman, in the sense of purifying their wealth and making sure that their offspring have a blessed future, God grants them the opportunity to invest in places of worship, in education curriculums that educate people in the right way and de-radicalize those who are vulnerable enough to be radicalized. And there are many other environmental programs in which business persons can invest, either for the sake of the community, for the identity of the nation. You might have a businessman who wants to donate simply because they are concerned with the reputation of their country. At the end of the day, the result is usually one result where funds are used to strengthen positive initiatives, and you'll have people who have the wealth and will always have the intention of wanting to support religious initiatives or initiatives that are more humanitarian but are spearheaded by religious figures, but they never really get the opportunity to do so. They live long wishing to be able to make a change with their wealth, but they never really end up doing so. And that's why I said, if God grants the tawfiq, the permission, the capability of them to turn their funds into blessings that please the Lord, that is one thing we should all pray for.
MashaAllah. Swamiji, you wanted to say something on that, yeah? No, okay. In one word, Acharyaji, how can we conclude the topic today that the faith can bridge the human being, the mankind, the barriers of beliefs or the myths can be overtaken? So in one word, what should be the message to the society?
One word, ब्रिज का काम कर सकता है अनेकांत दर्शन, ब्रिज का काम कर सकता है स्यादवाद दर्शन, और उस अनेकांत और स्यादवाद का संदेश है कि हम अपने अस्तित्व की तरह दूसरों के अस्तित्व को स्वीकार करना सीखें, हम अपने विचारों की तरह दूसरों के विचारों का आदर करना सीखें, और अंत में ये कहूँगा कि हम अपने धर्म का ईमानदारी से पालन करें, किंतु दूसरे धर्मों का की आदर और सम्मान करना सीखें। क्योंकि धर्म के क्षेत्र में धर्म जोड़ना सिखाता है, तोड़ना नहीं सिखाता। धर्म के क्षेत्र में हिंसा, घृणा, भय और नफरत का कोई स्थान हो नहीं सकता। और इसलिए मैं कहना चाहूंगा, भारत का पहला विश्व शांति केंद्र केवल इसलिए खड़ा है, किया गया कि उस अनेकांत दर्शन के माध्यम से, उस साध्यवाद के माध्यम से दुनिया में कहीं पर भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट खड़ा हो। मनुष्य मशीन का प्रोडक्शन नहीं है। विचार भेद, रुचि भेद, चिंतन भेद, ये सब स्वाभाविक हैं और मतभेद को लोकतंत्र में विकास का माध्यम भी माना गया है। किंतु मतभेद जब मनभेद का रूप धारण करता है तब समस्या उत्पन्न होती है। इसलिए आइए हम सब मिलकर के, मैं आह्वान कर रहा हूं, आओ मिलकर बैठें, आपस में बात करें। आओ मिलकर बैठें, आपस में बात करें। 4 कदम ही सही चलने का साथ करें। यूं तो दूरी से दूरी बढ़ती जाएगी, कभी तो हम खुद से खुद की मुलाकात करें। ये खुद से खुद की मुलाकात, ये खुद से खुदा की मुलाकात, और उसका एक शब्द में जरिया है, वो है अनेकांत दर्शन, साध्यवाद दर्शन। थैंक यू सो मच।
साध्यवाद, एकांत दर्शन, वास्तव में शब्द एक है लेकिन अर्थ तो विराट हैं। सो मजहब नहीं सिखाता आपस में बैर रखना, निश्चित ही। सो वी टेक इट फॉरवर्ड सर, एंड दीज narratives well thought from the wisdom of the leaders has come on the stage, on this platform. A big thank goes to Dr. Josefa, no doubt on that. Father, may I request you to make likewise, not exactly in the many words, but truly in one word, what can be the message for the society?
As I have already said, the bonds that unite us are stronger than the barriers that separate us. Strengthen the bonds means celebrating the other. Peace begins when you start celebrating the other. Experience the divine presence in the innermost part of our heart. Create a silent space in the innermost part of our heart and experience the divine. Then you will be able to see the other is your brother. The other is not the terror, the other is not the horror. You will be able to, the other is your brother. You will be the custodian. You will be the Samaritan, good Samaritan. You will be the neighbor of your brother. That is spirituality. And I had so many blind, visually challenged children with me. One day, one of them was trying to cross the door out. He asked someone to help him to cross the road. Someone helped him. I asked who? He said, I know that he is a human being. I don't know whether he was a Hindu or Muslim or Christian or Baha'i or a Jew or Zoroastrian, but he was a human being. So this summit is ultimately a call to humanity. So let us strengthen the bonds that unite us and weakens the barriers that separate us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I will take the opportunity to thank Imam Sahab. In a sentence, if I try to conceive the message that the diplomacy, education, and public life must welcome the moral voice of the faith. Swamiji, with due regards, humble regards, the message was you gave us that interfaith dialogue is essential for building the trust and share the purpose in this polarized world. Acharya ji, thank you so much for the spiritual traditions and offer the timeless wisdom for resolving the modern conflicts. And also, Father, the faith, when practiced with humility and compassion, becomes a tool for unity, but not for division. Such a nice closing remarks we received from you, and I request the MC to come on podium and take the session forward. Thank you.
So this was, is the mic working? The mic working? Hello? Yes, it is. All right, so this was an exhilarating session. Thank you so much, all our distinguished speakers, for giving us their invaluable insights, expertise, and sharing their thoughts on what they did. And we really would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for, showing us the right way forward and for helping us promote this global justice, love, and peace. And we have our very own chairman of the summit, Dr. Josefa Korakiwala, who will be presenting a memento to all our distinguished speakers here for showing a small little heartfelt gratitude towards all of them for sharing their time with us for global justice, love, and peace. So the very first person who will be receiving the memento is His Holiness Dr. Lokesh Muniji Acharya. Thank you so much, Your Holiness, for your wonderful insights, expertise, wisdom, and your dedication towards global justice, love, and peace. We really appreciate the time that you gave us. With a heartfelt gratitude, we would also want to present our memento as a token of appreciation to Father Dr. Robbie Kananshira. Thank you, Dr. Robbie, once again for coming, giving us your time. And this is the way we express our gratitude, by showing a small token of appreciation. Thank you for accepting the memento, sir. The next person to receive the memento will be Pujya Brahma Vihari Swamiji. Heartfelt gratitude, Swamiji, for coming down, giving us your time, and sharing your wisdom and valuable insights and expertise with us. It was beautiful having you here. It was really fantastic. Thank you so much. And I would also request Imam Muhammad Tawidi ji to accept a small token of our appreciation, and the memento will be given by Dr. Josefa Korakiwala to Imam Muhammad Tawidi ji. Thank you, sir, for once again giving us your valuable insights and your time and your wisdom and promoting world peace. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was a fantastic session and a wonderful panel. And just hang in there for a while because we have another session coming up. But before that, we need a picture. So, 1 second. Please hold on to the stage for a minute. How can we forget? My bad. We have Dr. Chaturvedi, who has moderated the session brilliantly. So could we also get the memento for Dr. would request you guys to just lend us a couple of your minutes because we have a very important and a very special message which has been sent across or towards global justice, love, and peace by Amma, and which is going to be played right here on the big screen. So please lend us your ears and hear out what she has to say. Please settle down. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And we truly are waiting to hear Amma's words of wisdom. Before we invite all our distinguished panelists and the moderator for our next session, Amma's message for global justice, love, and peace.
പ്രേമസ്വരൂപങ്ങളും ആത്മസ്വരൂപങ്ങളായിരിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാവർക്കും നമസ്കാരം.
Amma bows down to all of you who are the embodiments of pure love and the Supreme Self. Amma wishes to express her heartfelt gratitude for the kind invitation to speak at the Global Justice, Love and Peace Summit. A special note of thanks to Dr. Huzaifa Horakiwala. The universe, along with all living and non-living things within it, represents the divine expression of universal friendship. The meaning of the word heart is that which attracts. It also refers to that which makes everything happen, gives awareness, and transcends. Languages, national boundaries, and differences in religion, caste, creed, ethnicity, and so on can never affect the heart. There is only one language there, the language of love. Only this limitless love is capable of recognizing and attracting one another, sharing with others, invoking awareness, and transcending. The universal heart, along with its sound, melody, rhythm, and harmony, is all one. This is love. This love is the central point of universal friendship. The superpower of love can raise this world as high as the sky. When we look back through the corridors of history, this truth becomes clear. How many great people have brought about immense change in our world by spreading the message of love. Even today, their lives and words remain powerful sources of inspiration and wisdom. If we ask a musician who plays the flute or guitar where the music comes from, he might say it comes from the heart. But if we were to open his heart, would we find music there? Even if he says it comes from within or is found within the heart, we would never be able to locate music in a physical sense. So then where does music truly come from? It arises from a place beyond the body and mind, a realm where divine presence resides. This is where God's divinity lies. We must guide our children and the younger generation to recognize and realize the power of God. When we act with an attitude of love and selflessness, we are in essence giving back with kindness to nature and our fellow beings. Just as a circle cannot be complete without a central point, life cannot be complete without the central point of love. The roots of a tree are what anchor it firmly to the earth. In the same way, the powerful roots of love grow deep within our hearts, supporting both our individual and collective lives, and protecting us from the storms and turbulent winds that might otherwise uproot us entirely. The body grows healthier as the functions of its organs improve. Just as one hand comforts the other when it is in pain, so too must we support and heal one another. Let us work towards creating a new world where peace and love move in harmony, hand in hand. Let us look beyond the walls we have built around ourselves and see
Once again, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If I could request you to please make your way into the main hall. We're running short of time and we'd really appreciate to keep on schedule. We have lots planned for you today. I'm sure you've all taken a look at the agenda book. Coming up next is a session of power-packed panelists. For that, you will need to be present in the main hall. So if I could request you to come away from the coffee area, make yourself comfortable in the main hall as we begin the next session. A few housekeeping rules from our end. We've got water dispenser on either side of the main hall, so please continue to stay hydrated while respecting our environment and not using any plastic items. We've got paper cups and water dispensers on either side of the main hall. For those of you who'd love to get a look to the session at the end of the day, we're recording all of our sessions for you, and I promise you'll have access. So put those phones away and make sure you're enjoying and being present, being mindful, and being interactive. A final instruction from my side. You have QR codes that are present on your tables. Please make sure that you engage, scan the QR code, submit your questions, your feedback, your comments. We want to hear from you. We want to learn your side. So please make sure you're interacting and engaging with us as much as possible. Thank you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, may I please request you all to make your way into the main hall and take your seats. We're seconds away from beginning a very, very informative and insightful session. In just a few minutes, our stage is going to be full with interesting panel discussion. So please, may I ask you all to take your respective seats, scan the QR codes on your tables, engage with us, continue to comment, give us feedback. We'd love to hear from you. We want you to be involved. For those of you in the coffee area, may I please request you all to please come in and take your seats. We'd love to keep the day 2 of the Global Justice, Love and Peace Summit on schedule. Appreciate if you can support us. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the day 2 of the Global Justice, Love and Peace Summit. Now, we were graced by the presence of His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, UAE's Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence. Right after that, we've had an insightful panel session. We have messages pouring in from across the world, and we continue to make sure we seamlessly integrate all of that and make today an impactful day. What a pleasure it's been to continue to host you. However, we have our next MC that is queued up and ready. Session number 3 for today by Ms. Rawan Musa. Could we please give our MC Rawan a huge round of applause?
Everyone, my name is Rawan Musa, and I'm honored to be your MC for this deeply meaningful session, Justice with Heart. Today, we ask a vital question. Can legal systems remain fair while impressing compassion and empathy? This is more than a legal debate. It is a call to reimagine justice not just a system of rules, but as a force for healing, dignity, and restoration. It is my great pleasure to welcome a remarkable leader whose life's work truly reflects the heart of today's session. Justice shaped by empathy and peace, nurtured through dialogue. She is a business leader and a key figure in Tunisia's transition during the Arab Spring. As a member of Tunisian National Dialogue Quartet, she helped guide her country from crisis to consciousness, showing that deep listening and inclusive dialogue can transform even the most fragile moments. That journey earned her the Nobel Peace Prize in 2015. Her leadership has been recognized globally, from France's Legion of Honor to being named the WEF's Legendary Peace Leader of the Decade. She also serves on the Oslo Businesses for Peace Award Committee. Today, she moderates a session exploring how legal systems can uphold fairness while embracing compassion, drawing inspiration from real-world models in Norway, South Africa, and New Zealand. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Widad Bouchamawi. And now, it is my pleasure to welcome a speaker who brings a powerful lens on justice, not from the courtroom, but from the front row of sustainable innovation and responsible leadership. Jibril Wong, co-founder of Metaverse Green Exchange and co-president of Metacom, in shaping the future of climate finance and digital trust. But what stands out is his belief that, and I quote, empathy is not weakness. It is a strength that builds trust, fosters inclusion, and leads to meaningful change. Welcome to the stage. And now, it's my pleasure to welcome a leader whose work in healthcare and businesses has allowed reflected a deep sense of purpose and empathy. Dr. Habil Karakawi, a founder and chairman of Watchard Group, has transformed the company into a global healthcare enterprise. But beyond innovation, his leadership has emphasized compassion, responsibility, and long-term impact. Described as empathic and judges, he reminds us that the principle of fairness and humanity don't belong only in courts. They belong in every system we build. Please welcome again Dr. Habil. And now, it's my honor to begin with a global icon of peace, Ms. Lima Gubawi. Nobel Peace Laureate and a tireless activist from Liberia. Ms. Lima led a women's peace movement that helped end Liberia's brutal civil war in 2003. Her work united Christian and Muslim women in an innovation campaign that not only brought down but also ushered in the country's first female president. Welcome, Ms. Lima. Thank you so much, and now I will leave you to start the session.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much to be patient, and I'm counting on your patience because I know it's lunchtime, and but be sure we'll have a very interesting panel with a very important subject, justice and heart. And it's my pleasure and my honor to have this eminent panelist and do another one online. So thank you so much for introduction, that kind introduction. Just to introduce myself a little bit is what I did exactly, so people they can know about justice. I come from Tunisia. Tunisia is a country in North Africa, a nation that no long ago stood at the edge of uncertainty. And during the Arab Spring in 2011, our streets were filled with anger, fear, and hope, all at once. In that fragile moment, we chose dialogue, not because it was easy, but because it was the only path that could honor both justice and peace. We were 4 organizations, and we had the idea to sit together and to invite politicians to, with us and to set up a kind of roadmap. As a part of this National Dialogue Quartet, I learned how listening, truly listening to those we disagree with, and how we can rebuild a nation. We didn't rely on power or punishment, but we relied on trust, empathy, and courage. And today, our conversation is deeply personal for me because I have seen that justice, guided by compassion, is not weakness, it's a strength with soul. Around the world, we see similar models inspiring this shift from Norway's human approach to incarceration to South Africa's truth-telling and New Zealand's focus on youth and restoration. So, can justice be both firm and human? Can we also live with dignity, with listening to each other, with understanding each other? Justice is, unfortunately, always perceived as a kind of book, rules, punishment, but not as a way to find solution and to advance. So this session will explore how legal systems can evolve to reflect both fairness and compassion. the role of storytelling, creative expression, and activism in reshaping public and institutional views of justice. Through moving personal narratives, bold policy ideas, this session will show that compassion is not a concession, but a powerful force for justice that heals, uplifts, and transforms. I'm very honored also to have this kind of eminent panelists, and we'll have 1 hour for this session. I'll start with kind of an opening panel question, and after I go through each of you, and we'll ask them in the first round, the second round, and the last one is about takeaway for all of us. So if you don't mind, I will start. It's always, I mean, I think it's a tradition to start with women, and my sister Leiba, I'm going to start. So the question is, can traditional indigenous or community-led justice models teach modern legal systems to be more human?
Thank you, Udit. It's interesting that you're starting with a woman, given that this was not my original panel. So last panel had my picture up, but for some unfortunate reason, I was axed out of my panel. So thank you for making amends. This is what is called restorative justice. You have restored my dignity. So traditional models of justice, I will start with a story. So years ago, this young man killed another man over a woman. And this is a true story. He was sentenced to life in prison, but his wife was pregnant, and the man he killed was an only child. So at his sentencing, his mother is sitting there. At the sentencing, the one who was killed, mother was there, and the one who killed, pregnant wife, was there. And so when he was sent to life imprisonment, the old lady turned to one of her nephews and said, "Is this it? Is this justice?" And they said, "Yes, justice." The judge said, "Justice has been served." And she said, "It's the two women that have lost. She lost her son. I lost my son. She's lost her husband." So when probed further, she said, in our tradition, he would have been banished to an isolated place, and his wife would have been given to me as a daughter, and that child would have become my child. And he would have made who takes care of this pregnant woman and the unborn child? And when you think about all of these questions in the story, for me, I feel like there are models of justice. Oh my God.
No, you can continue because we have 1 hour and we are just for panelists.
Okay, I will soon.
If you don't,
for models of justice.
to move here because
we can break
feel,
the. Yes, because the last panel broke the rules and took me out. I will keep reminding them about this. So if you look at this traditional model of justice, you say that it's more restorative than it's retributive. And today in our world, everyone is looking at retributive justice. An eye for an eye, you do it, we have to. So we need, I feel like more traditional models of justice are more restorative, especially from my culture. And when we got colonized in the Western mindset, we took on the Western ideology of justice. And a lot of those are, you go to prison, we lock you up, we throw the keys away. Even if it was by mistake or something, you never come out. You become a burden to society. Your families suffer. Those who lost their lives suffer. and that's the end of the story. But I think a more restorative model to justice is a more traditional model, and we should begin to look into those models of justice.
Thank you so much, Alema. And I think it's so, if we have to go through all our religion, justice is everywhere. And people, they need also to be aware that we can live together. Even though we have different culture, different backgrounds, I mean, the globe is very large. There is a space for every one of us, and we can also choose different ways how we can educate our children, how to be tolerant, how to be resilient, and how also to accept our differences. That's, I think, what we have to do with our children, with the new generation.
Actually, I really wondered why I'm in this panel. Because I have no idea. I'm not a person of law. But the one who has seen justice happening from a distance. And I really wonder many times that, and it's not in India, but I think in many parts of the world, if you want real justice in most cases, there are exceptions, like you mentioned a few of them, that you need to have for poor people who suffer. And actually they suffer much more than anyone else. And if we take this at a much higher level of thinking and doing, I can only think of few people, few icons, I would say, not even people, like Mahatma Gandhi. He provided a kind of justice when he was in South Africa, for example. And that is where he fought against apartheid. He was jailed and still persists, and then he came to India and started a non-violent movement where he was jailed, many people jailed, but he shook the whole British Empire and got the independence for India. So this is where he used the power of poor, downtrodden, and the community at large through a means which was not violent. And I have seen many people using this kind of a very simple approach in real life and gathering momentum and making a huge difference. I think the same thing Nelson Mandela did in South Africa. Non-violent movement, and Martin Luther King, if you think of, the whole legal system underwent change, what he did. So I think justice at individual level is one thing, justice happening at a much larger, and this is something happening in all last 100 years, and therefore I think the world is moving slowly, steadily to probably a more just society.
Yeah, thank you so much. But we need to be sure that everyone has access to justice. This is the most difficult thing. If we'd like to have, we are looking for democracy, we need to have justice before, so we can feel comfortable and we can discuss about everything and we can disagree on some items. Thank you so much. Our next panelist, this question is, can traditional, indigenous, or community-led justice models teach modern legal system to be more human?
Right. So I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be on this panel, so yeah. So I guess that makes me the exception. So I think all of you are very familiar with the concept of justice and, of course, fairness and equality or even equity. I myself, I'm a legally trained lawyer. I'm not practicing law now, but I was trained in Singapore. I practiced in Hong Kong, and I was also trained in the US. And so I think one of the key things that was always very important as I pursued the legal education was, the question of what is justice, right? And that is something which is a major topic by itself. Why? Because justice means different things to different people. For example, if you are in a situation where there are 100 people and 51 people agree on a certain course of action, is it fair to the other 49? I mean, the simple arithmetic is that, the majority rule. And of course, we see that it's not always a perfect system. And we have sins, whether in the criminal justice system or even in the practice of corporate law, we have built in what we call minority rights. And this has slowly now expanded to how we define it as community-based justice, which is to really understand the unique characteristics and the needs of the community, where the legal system or even the policing is being applied to that particular area or to that particular community. And the challenge, and of course, how the justice is actually being implemented, is to make sure that the legal framework that has been agreed, that has been part of the legislation, can be applied in a way that benefits the community, or even the so-called niche minority within the community. And there is therefore a very important need whether you are a jurist, whether you are a judge, whether you're a lawyer or police, to be able to have that framework in mind and make sure that whatever the law that has been applied, it will have an outcome that is fair and that is just to not just the majority, but also to the minority within the community or the area that we reside in. So yeah, so the short answer is yes, absolutely. Community-based justice is very important. Thank you.
Leima, do you agree, or do you have something to add?
No, I totally agree, because I think the way our world operates today is a bit upside down, in that systems and structures that are supposed to benefit people are primarily being used to, the upside down nature of our world is that people come after systems and structures. Before, systems and structures were designed to benefit people. Today, the way the world operates is that people no longer worry about compassion. We're talking about justice with the heart. It's not there. It's about this system must happen. This structure must happen. One example that I can even give is, let's look at technology. Everything we say about technology today is that it came to make our lives better. And if you look at it, it's driving us further away from our collective humanity. And there are many other things. Even politics, when you think about politics, it's supposed to benefit people, for the people, by the people, but it's for a few individuals. Justice now, like Doctor said, has a dollar sign attached to it. Poor people can no longer. So I think we need to go back to the community method of justice, because those are the ones that it has a heart. It is about people. It is about children. It is about older women. It is about those who are downtrodden, not the way it's operating today. So I truly agree.
Thank you so much.
Stop.
For the organizers, I don't know if our guest online, she's with us, or we have to wait for her. Mrs. Latifa. Okay. just waiting for Mrs. Latifa. I don't know. For sure, she is going to join us online, Latifa bin Zaitan. I'll come back to you, Layma. I don't know why I feel that I'm not giving you a privilege, but I'd like, to start with women, as that's what we are doing everywhere, here and everywhere. So,
Ude, don't feel bad. I was excluded from the last panel.
That's why I'm trying to do my best. Just to forget this one, this small incident. Yeah, and we are restoring justice, as he said. We are here just, to move forward and to look for the future. And I think we have a big heart, so you can forgive everyone. Mrs. Laima, you have spoken about interfaith and collaboration as a path to peace. What can legal systems learn from these principles of dialogue, respect, and shared humanity? Is it possible now to use this legal system, to forgive and to start new ways of peace and collaboration between the community?
I think one of the things that we can learn from interfaith collaboration is that it sits, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it sits at the heart of the people. I have a history of my work bringing together both Christian and Muslim women in Liberia to work together for peace, forming a nonviolent movement for peace. And in our movement, one of the things that made it very efficient was that there were women who had their children killed from opposing factions sitting with us, as well as women whose children were the killers sitting with us. And that collaboration between two faiths was able to lead the way to a nation that had been 14 years at war, coming together, us understanding that we either sing or we swim. One of my biggest criticism of the international community handling of Liberia is that the day we finally managed to go to a peace talks, when every party had agreed, was the day the international community decided to indict our former president. And he had said if he was arrested at that time, he was going to order his soldiers to go from house to house and kill people. So one of the things that Dr. Ibadi always say, and I think we can learn from that, is that there is always time for justice. And I think within our interreligious, or within all of our religious things, while forgiveness is there, whilst loving your neighbor is there, it is important that we recognize that whilst we build people-to-people relationship, because those are the things that interfaith collaboration calls for, that we are one. If you go to the Quran or you go to the Bible, it's the same loving your neighbor as you love yourself. If you even go to every other faith tradition, that's the one verse that everyone holds. So as we think about those things, and as we build people to people, we have to solidify our communities before we say, let's go to court, let's do this, let's do that. Other than that, look at World War II. They're still indicting people today. So there's always time for justice. But if you look at our religious interfaith collaboration, building relationship is more important in certain moments than going to court.
I agree, thank you. Dr. Abil, I know you are in the healthcare system, so my question is going to be about the healthcare systems. What parallels do you see between healthcare systems and legal systems in terms of human impact? Please, the mic.
If we look at our healthcare system, say over a long period of time, say 100 years. So what has happened is we have got new drugs, you got the vaccines, you got antibiotics, you have got the drugs for various diseases like heart, diabetes on one hand. Also you have got surgical procedures where you can literally, it's made a tremendous advance in all this area. And what is the result of that? A human being average life was about 30 years, 100 years back. Today we live 70, 80 years, which is a very normal average life. So there is a massive change taken place. And this is a change because the, I think the people in research area have found new medicine, new way to operate and such. So there has been actually a transformation which has taken place. Now, if you look at the legal system, I believe there is a transformation for a very simple system which we had 100 years back. And today we see such a very complex system. Every country has their own laws. Everything is becoming very complicated. And the complexity has become so much, as I said earlier, it is unaffordable. And I thought the purpose of a summit like this is to start thinking unthinkable. And I always wondered if we have a single human race, why we cannot have a simple, straightforward legal system for the entire world? And why would countries will not accept a system which everyone understands and follows? Obviously, a lot of lawyers will lose their jobs. So that's a separate issue. But it would provide a much better degree of justice to a humankind, because the simplicity is one of the important aspects of providing justice. When it becomes very complicated, like all our legal system, wherever you go, whether it is a corporate law, criminal law, civil law, so complex that even you have to file a tax return, you need a legal person sometimes. So I think this is one thing one should look area. Why would you not have for the entire world, a humankind, a simple legal system which everybody can follow and get justice wherever you are?
So we do need the political will sometimes, huh? To make all this changement.
You have to dream something,
yeah, dream
which is
yeah.
unthinkable. But I think if one works on that front, probably we might help to simplify, unify. Because, you know, in economic area, there is a lot of coordination which have taken place in last. Trump is destroying everything. That's just besides the point. But a lot of things have happened. So why would in a legal system some simplification should not take place?
Yeah, also to make all this.
Sorry,
please.
I think Gabriel will jump in, and Gabriel, please feel free to jump in anytime.
Of course, I like this one.
But I feel like we already have the legal system, Doc, and that legal system is love and compassion.
Yeah.
It goes beyond borders. It goes beyond ethnicity. It goes beyond race and gender. And I think if we begin to operate from that place, where if I'm in India, I'm not worried if something happened to me that I will not be taken care of because of the color of my skin. That's the one legal system that we have, love and compassion. The question we must ask ourselves is, in an individualistic world, how do we begin to teach it to our children? Because maybe it's too late for us. How do we begin to teach it?
We are still young.
Well, it's true, but if you look at the state of our world today, the level of racism that some of us go through because of the color of our skin, I tell people, I wish I could carry the Nobel medal around my neck when I travel from country to country. Then maybe people will pay it because they will treat you poorly, and then once they recognize who you are, then they want to be nice to you. So I think that love and compassion is the legal tool that we all need to harness as we move around in our world. You can disagree with me, but no country will want to agree to share similar law. India will not want to share with Liberia because they may say, your systems are too rotten. But there is one law that all of our religious teachings gave us, and that's love and compassion.
Yeah, thank you so much. Would you like to jump?
Yeah, so I think a couple of interesting points that has been raised. So I think one, I believe that the legal system and the framework that's available now it always incorporates the idea of fairness and justice and maybe even empathy and love, right? So if you look at the Commonwealth, British system, it is obviously based on what we call the Judeo-Christian values. If you look at, the Chinese so-called legal system, a lot of that is also based on, the so-called Confucius ideas. And of course, in India, there's a sort of a separate value system that basically underpins the evolution and the implementation of law. So I think there is no question that no matter which country you are from, there is always this idea that the legal system that has been drafted needs to have all these elements. I think the challenge is the implementation. Because you can have the best intentions, but if the person, if the judge, the jurist, the police that is implementing it has different ideas, or the person is not properly, incorporated all these, the right value system, when they enforce the law, it can be very harsh, right? Because, humans are lazy, right? You always default to whatever is there in the black and white, and we talk about, the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. So trying to bring about the spirit of the law in the actual implementation is always difficult, and it's a challenge. And I like what you were saying earlier, that maybe one of the solution really is to start educating, the next generation, because through education, you bring about the sense of what is, the proper framework of fairness, of justice, of love and peace, and then it becomes so much easier for them to then implement the law, or maybe even when they become in position as judges or lawmakers, they would even be able to reform the laws in a way that is so much more just.
I'll continue with you, Mr. Wong, as you are in this field of technology and AI. So what can technology and innovation sectors learn from justice models that focus on human dignity? With this AI, we are going to lose many, many jobs. We are going to confrontate just robots, and we are going at least to forget this human behavior. So I'm afraid for the new generation, because we grow up with our family, our community, with our environment, to how each one helps each other one, and now with the AI, I'm very frustrated. I mean, I feel that I'm away from my family, and so I think it's time. Yes, I'm for this AI because this technology is a nice way. We can travel from one place to another place. We can contact each other by Zoom if we're there. We can learn from each other. But I feel that we are losing our human capacity to understand each other.
Yeah, I mean, technology is something which I feel is a tool. And it's a neutral tool, and it's really in the hands of the person that would bring about the good outcome or the bad outcome. So we are all aware that with the advent of AI now, we are going to increasingly see what we call the technology or the digital divide between the haves and have-not. So taking the recent example of the COVID experience, even in Singapore, there is a segment of the population at a time that had no access to laptops. And so because of that, they were not able to keep up with the online learning because all the schools had to close and the learning, the education went online. And so the government realized that, wow, there's actually a segment of population that there's no laptop. And so one of the things that we did as a company was that we had to work with the government and repurpose some of the old laptops.
How about other countries in Africa?
Exactly.
If Singapore doesn't have this
Exactly.
kind of laptops for...
Exactly. So we had to repurpose it, and then we had to distribute it, and then we realized there is another problem. Why? Because it is not just about giving them the equipment, right? They don't know how to get online. You talk about Zoom, you talk about Teams. The parents, because they are of a certain socio-economic class, they don't know how to teach the children to, hey, how do you click on this so that you can get online? And the children, because they are learning from home, they are frustrated. So that's I think one example of how you see, the use of technology is a double-edged sword, right? Obviously, it solves distance, the issue of distance, right? It literally brings people closer. You could be in Liberia, I could be in Singapore, we could be talking every day because of Zoom or Teams. But at the same time, if you don't have access to that, or if you don't know how to use it as efficiently as the person next to you, you're going to be left behind. And we see this now with AI, because what AI is going to do is that it's not just going to take away jobs as we understand it, but it's going to take away a lot of the white-collar jobs.
Okay.
White-collar jobs. So, as I said, I'm a trained lawyer. I speak to some of my colleagues. They are telling me that the next generation of lawyers, right, first of all, the law firms are going to hire less people. Why? Because they will be able to leverage on all the data that has been accumulated in the law firms, right? And they will be able to do a lot of the basic stuff that junior lawyers were doing. Same thing in banks. I was also an investment banker. So a lot of the stuff like the pitch deck, the research, the basic work that you usually hire the associates or the analysts to do, no more, right? So a lot of the white-collar jobs that we now take for granted is going to be gone. But in the hands of very senior lawyers or bankers, they would be able to go, wow, this is such a powerful tool because I can do a lot more with a lot less resource and time. Instead of taking on 5 cases, I can maybe take on 10 cases because I have an AI to assist me. So it's how I think you use the technology as opposed to the technology itself. The technology, I don't think it's good or bad, it's neutral. It's how you use it.
Totally agree, yeah. Dr. Habil, you
Yeah,
want
I
to
just
please.
have been always wondering, what you said is absolutely correct, that with AI available, it has been replacing what we can do in a lot of fields, in science, in law, in many fields, management. So I was just wondering, I may be totally off the grid, but why would a basic simple issues of law or dispute cannot be resolved by AI itself? Because all the legal evidence, legal laws of both available, you just put the facts of the case, and in most cases, I'm not talking of serious cases, routine day-to-day cases of monetary dispute or other kind of a dispute, why would AI not assist in arriving at a solution which is probably easy, simple, and sometime you can influence and develop AI will bring element of compassion in justice.
One of my biggest, and I think I'm the one who's still in the dinosaur era, I find it very difficult to adjust, because I feel like whilst technology is good, it's gently or gradually seeping into taking away our heart, our humanity. Once upon a time, I was sitting on a panel and I said, maybe in the next 50 years, when I'm very old, the app that I will develop will be how to teach your children to go outside and play. Because right now, young people, young children, we are able to interact across culture. Let me talk about myself, because we grew up with a generation of being able to interact with people across culture, not in virtual worlds. In the actual world, we knew who didn't have food to eat. We shared things but in the virtual world, there is no interaction, no tangible touch. The South Africans call it Ubuntu. I am because of what we all are. And it's something that is not working with AI and all of these things. So I don't think AI can solve or resolve disputes. I hope not, because I'll probably be in jail because it'll be looking at other things and not the heart of the law.
Thank you so much. We need to close the session right now. Just, some takeaways from this extraordinary panelist. As someone who led Tunisia through a fragile transition, I've learned that empathy is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And when people feel heard, peace becomes possible. Justice for me must serve both accountability and healing. So I think our discussion today reaffirmed that justice with heart is not soft, it's strong because it dares to be human. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your vision, for what you did, for your countries, for the whole generation. And thank you so much for the organizer. Maybe we'll meet next year. Bye.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful session, informative and full of love and peace. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Hudhaifa again to the stage for the Talking of the Momentous. Starting our Talking of the Momentous with Ms. Widad Bouchamawi. Mr. Wong. Dr. Habil Korakiwala. And Ms. Laima Gabwi. Thank you so much. We ask everyone to join the lunch now. And the second session, next session, will be at 2:30 p.m. Thanks again to our moderator, panelists, and speaker. And of course, thank you, Dr. Hudhaifa.
te ginate mokhel da mitskar tsurvili da shen chemotwali sinate mokhel da mitskar tsurvili da shen chemotwali sinate hey da hey hey da hey hey da hey hey da hey da varale hey da hey hey da hey hey da hey da varale shen chemotwali sinatle shen zet simghera mtskhuriya shen zgurshi zamtar sraundada sulmudam gazapkhuliya shen zgurshi zamtar sraundada sulmudam gazapkhuliya hey da hey hey da hey hey da hey da hey da varale hey da hey hey da hey hey da hey da varale twani michira ushenseda როგორც მინოს მწერზედა ნეტავი გამაგებინა შერაგული გაქ შემზედა 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 შერაგული გაქ შემზედა 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 შერაგული გაქ შემზედა ამ გერჩი ორი გული ძევს ერთში წვიმს ერთში დარია შენთვისა შემღრიღლუბლებსა სხვას გავღიმებ დარია 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 სხვას გავღიმებ დარია 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 სხვას გავღიმებ დარია Dari duri dari duri dari darale 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 Schengen atsuale dari duri dari darale dari duri dari darale dari duri dari darale Schengen atsuale მინდორში ბალახ ბულახში ამოსულიყო იაო ამაღამ შენთან მოვდივარ კარი და სტოვერიაო ამაღამ შენთან მოვდივარ კარი და სტოვერიაო dari duri dari darale dari duri dari darale dari duri dari darale საწაგიყვანო ქალაო რომელი მხარ მხარეს ჯობია აბასტუმანი ბახმარო თბილისი ყველას ჯობია აბასტუმანი ბახმარო თბილისი ყველას ჯობია დალი დური დალი დური დალი დალალე დალი დური დალი დური დალი დალალე დალი დური დალი დური დალი დალალე შენგენაც ვარე დალი დური დალი დური დალი დალალე დალი დური დალი დური დალი დალალე დალი დური დალი დური დალი დალალე შენგენაც ვარე ზაფხულში წყაროს მაგივრად გინატე მოხდა მიცხარ წყურვილი და შენ ჩემო თვალი სინათლე მოხდა მიცხარ წყურვილი და შენ ჩემო თვალი სინათლე